Sophie, and I'm joined by my colleague Anjali and two students, well, one ex-student actually. Jess has graduated Middlesex, and we've also got Leonardo as well with us, and we're here to deliver this presentation on getting you ready for results day and clearing, and we form part of the Education Liaison and Outreach team at Middlesex University. So this year, Results Day will be the 18th of August, and your results will be published on that date. You will be able to see your results via UCAS track, whether you've been successful or not in your university choices. This will actually open this year at 8:30. It does change kind of year on year, but you won't be able to see anything up until that point. For some of you, you may need to also go into your school or college to collect your results. For others, they may be emailed over to you or they may be posted to you. For those of you who are expecting your grades on the 18th of August, we're here to talk you through what can happen on the day of receiving your results, but some of you on this call may have already received your results, and if that's the case, then you may already know whether you've been successful in your university choices or not. So those people that have received their results already, you may have got them for a number of reasons. So perhaps you studied your qualifications last year, perhaps you are studying a qualification that gets its results sooner than A-levels. And for some of you, you may have received your results way in advance and be applying to university now. So you can use clearing for a number of different reasons, and this presentation is going to cover all of those reasons and hopefully put your mind at ease and help you find a new university or course match depending on how your circumstances lie.
So results day can be a little bit stressful, but it doesn't always need to be. So as long as you've planned for all the scenarios and all the eventualities, hopefully that will make everything a little bit less stressful. So it's important to think about how you're going to receive your results. So as Sophie said, do you know, are you going to go into school? Do you know if they're going to be emailed to you or posted on your intranet page? So it's important to know how you're actually going to see your results, who you're going to be with. Are you going to be with family members, friends? So it's just making sure that you've prepared all like the logistical side of results day as well. Have you been able to contact your teachers or discuss, you know, what would happen if you didn't quite get your results? Have you spoken to your parents or carers or guardians about, you know, if you didn't get into your firm or your insurance choice university? It's just super important to just think about all the different scenarios just in case if one of those does happen. It's really important to have a look at what your university is doing over the clearing period as well. What support is there? Who can you talk to? Who can you ring? It's important just to be aware of all the support that is available. And throughout this presentation, we'll be discussing how Middlesex is here to support you as well.
Sorry, just trying to unmute myself there. So it's really important that you feel as prepared as possible for next week. So when you're receiving your results, it's really good to try and make a plan in advance. And we've put together a couple of suggestions to help make your day a little bit easier. So one of those is to actually discuss the different scenarios that you may be coming up against next week with either your teachers or parents or somebody that you feel kind of safe with, that you're able to talk through what might happen in the event of going through clearing. So as I said, you can go through clearing for a number of different reasons, and if you do better than expected or you want to change your mind, there will be opportunities and options available for you. So this is a pretty obvious one, but sometimes people are either too excited or sometimes a little bit too nervous. So try and have an early night, relax. Remember that you have prepared for all of the scenarios that may come up. Do your research. So by this, if you do feel like you may be going into clearing, or you may need to contact other universities for their support, or your university that you are considering going to and hoping to study with, write down the numbers, write down the ways to contact those institutions, just so that on the day you are as prepared as possible. Check what time their phone lines are opening, or their live chat functions, for instance, or their whether they've got another way to contact them. just so that you feel like you're as prepared as possible. And also maybe pop a couple of questions together for things that you want to ask the universities, so that you kind of feel as confident and as prepared as possible. And you can do this in some sort of checklist. So on results day, there'll be a number of different ways to contact institutions, but most likely you'll be able to make a phone call, and do that from home, do that with people around you that can support you. So maybe your parents, guardians, relatives, and have all of the relevant information that you need to hand, such as your results, and any other information that universities may need. And also follow specific social media sites as well. So UCAS will be posting regular updates on results day, as well as other universities. They'll be posting information about what's happening with them during clearing, and also keep up to date on like the UCAS website and also the university's website for their up-to-date clearing vacancies as well.
Sorry. So what is clearing? So clearing is there to help you find and apply to universities where there might be still courses available. So there's lots of different reasons why people go into clearing. So this could be because they've changed their mind on what they want to study or where they'd like to study. They may have not got the correct grades that they need for their firm or insurance choice. They may have not received, or they may have just rejected all their initial offers and now have decided to go back into the system and find the right course and the right university for them. They may have not applied through UCAS at all. So maybe during kind of September to January time, they may have thought, oh, I actually don't want to go to university. And now after looking at the results or after the summer period have thought, you know what, actually I do want to go and see what is still available. Or if you want to transfer from another university or college, you can do this through clearing as well. So it's super important to remember that you can apply to any kind of clearing course as soon as you receive your exam results. And if you already have your exam results, clearing started from July, so you can start applying now. You don't need to wait till results day.
So if you don't get the grades, there are a number of things for you to be able to do. So the university that you have applied to may still accept you. You can telephone them directly and ask. They will be able to tell you whether or not they can still accept you. And this will hopefully put your mind at ease about which university you'll be going to. The university may offer you an alternative course as well. You should consider all options at this stage. You may also go through to your insurance choice as well if you don't get the grades for your firm choice. But if that becomes to a point where you don't get through to your firm or your insurance choice, then you will need to go through clearing. And universities will have open all of their clearing vacancies, and it may be that you need to go through to a different university. So what I would say is do your research about various different universities that you may be wanting to consider, see what clearing vacancies are out already, and there will be an opportunity for you to find a place in clearing.
So if you wish to change your firm choice university after receiving your results next Thursday, then you can use this thing called UCAS self-release. So this system can be found on the UCAS hub. And this means that you decline your firm choice immediately, and then you enter clearing, and then using UCAS, you can add your new choice. But before you do this and before you click self-release, make sure that you've checked with your new university that there is a space available for you. And you've also checked things like accommodation availability. Make sure they can still offer you, or you can still apply for accommodation, even if you go through clearing. And check out other things like location, other important student issues that you might be like looking at. So what type of societies there are, what student life looks like. Maybe if you want to have a quick chat with someone on live chat that's one of the student ambassadors, just to get a feel for the university. Just make sure you've done all your research and you're happy with your choice before you self-release and put yourself into clearing.
So if you've not applied yet for 2022 entry, so that's for somebody wanting to go to university this year, this academic, so from September 2022, don't worry, clearing is a really great way to find your uni match or your course match as well. So you will need to create a UCAS account to search for courses still open in clearing. You can do that now. Even if you are still waiting for your results, you can start your UCAS application and you can save as you go. You will still need to produce things like a personal statement, a reference, all of that sort of stuff. So it's best that you do those things now. And there are lots of resources to support you on creating those. Do your research. UCAS will have all of the clearing vacancies that are up there. And you can also, as we say, contact the universities directly to see if they could make you an offer through clearing once you've got your results.
So if you find yourself in clearing, UCAS can personally match you to your courses you might be interested in, and this is Clearing Plus. So what UCAS does, that using what they know about you from your application and knowing what universities and colleges are looking for, they can match you up to about 50 different courses in one go. So it's a matchmaking service designed to make the process of applying through clearing much less stressful.
So we often get questions about student finance, and you may have some questions too. So we've just put a short slide together on securing your student finance if you are going through clearing. So we put together some of the common questions to talk you through kind of how it works. The application process is super, super easy. And some of you, and hopefully most of you, will have done your student finance application already. But if you haven't, it will only take you about 30 minutes. But it's best to do it early. So I would recommend, if you are considering going to university this year, and if you haven't started your student finance application, that you do, and you just pop down the university that you believe you will be going to. And then if that changes, the fix is super, super easy. It will just take you a lot longer if you haven't done any application. So we've got a couple of, well, quite a few questions here, but some of the common things that we get asked is kind of when loans are paid. So loans are paid in 3 installments over the year. Payments will be made on the first day of each term. So if this is your first time applying for finance, then you need to make yourself aware that actually your first payment probably will be slightly less because you'll receive the minimum amount of maintenance loan. And this is because Student Finance England want to make sure that everything is correct with the amount that they'll be giving you. And they also want to make sure that you do have some money at the start of your course. So after they're able to calculate exactly what you are eligible for, then they'll kind of backdate and pay you the difference as soon as possible. Then your second and third installments will probably increase as well. And you can find out more information on the Student Finance website. And there's guidance on the gov.uk website for students going through clearing. So it's also important to remember that if you decide you're going to change your mind about where you want to live during your studies, that you need to let Student Finance England know, because that may change the amount you get in maintenance. So typically for students studying in London, maintenance is a lot higher than those studying in a city outside of London. So if you make that change, for instance, you will need to just let them know, because your maintenance loan will change. Maybe it will go up or it might go down depending on where you decide to study. So if we have a look at some of these questions here. So I've already made my application, but now I'm in clearing, my university details will change. What can I do? So you can make this change easily by logging into your student finance application and amending the university details. This can take up to 20 days to process, but Student Finance will recognise the change and then will change that all over accordingly. You can also contact them via Twitter. I know lots of people probably don't use Twitter anymore, but they are super active on there. Or you can call them, but over this results period, it is going to be quite busy. So I would recommend, if you can do, just go onto your application and change those details over. So I've just got my place in clearing, but the academic year has started. What do I do? So if you find that the university place, if you find your university place, sorry, after the academic year starts, then you need to go to the finance team at your university. At Middlesex, they're called SWAT, Student Welfare and Advice Service. They will be able to make that change for you. So they have contacts within student finance and they can go in and support you to make that change. So this is my first time making an application. How long will it take? And the reason why I said to make your application as soon as possible is in the normal cycle. So without all of the added things around kind of results day and information needing to change, it can take anywhere from 6 to 8 weeks to be processed. So as I said, in that time, if you are doing an application and they're not able to fully reconcile what it is that you are eligible for, they may be able to award you the minimum amount while they process your application. And then my course or university name has changed. That's absolutely fine. Sign into your account and tell Student Finance England about the changes. So that's a super easy fix for you to make. And if in doubt, you can contact your university teams to support you with anything to do with student finance.
So if you're looking at accommodation, it's really important to remember that when you're looking at your different clearing courses, that if you are looking to go towards a residence, that you're still able to apply for accommodation, even if you're going through clearing. So just make sure you've done your research, as some universities may have run out of halls of residence accommodation and they've already given it to students that have already accepted their place. But at Middlesex, you can apply for accommodation even if you are coming through clearing. So you can apply online, or if you want to give the accommodation team a ring, you can also do that as well. We can also help if you're looking for a privately owned accommodation and you want to go down the private route, that's absolutely fine as well. It's important to remember that you may need to pay in advance. So usually it's around £300 that you need to pay to secure that accommodation place as well. So just an FYI about that.
We've got a very short video just to show you. Hopefully it works. If not, we can send it to everybody later on to see. And it is available on our YouTube page of the accommodation that's at Middlesex. And all first year students are able to get accommodation at Middlesex. So do check with your different universities, whether it's just those that have put the university down as the firm choice, whether they will give accommodation to everybody. Do check that out, and you can ask those questions directly to the accommodation teams or the admissions teams at the universities too.
So here's the single bed with the bedside table that you get, and then the drawers and the desk with the storage above, and inside the wardrobe there's also storage here. And then you get your ensuite here with some storage just above the door. Inside the ensuite, you get your shower, you get a cabinet and a mirror and the sink. And then we'll show you the halls and kitchen. So commonly in flat, you share it with 6 other people. This is what your flat will look like. And then inside here is the kitchen. So you get a fridge, you get a microwave, you each get a locked cupboard and then a non-locked cupboard. You can keep that food and stuff in the locked cupboard if you don't want to make sure it's safe. And then you get a big table, so you can all sit around the table and eat them together if you like. You can also have stuff like food rotors if you want to share the buying of like milk and butter and stuff. You get a cleaner that comes once a week that clean the kitchen area, but you do need to make sure that you keep the bins, take out the bins if they get too overflowed before they come. And you also get provided with kettle and a microwave too. Yeah. And that is flat halls. Hi everyone, my name is Shalise. I'm a resident assistant here at Unite, and I'm going to show you around one of the empty standard rooms. So at Unite, you get 2 pin boards, you get some shelves underneath your desk, you get a bedside table, you also get shelves over your bed, and you have storage underneath your bed. The beds at Unite are small double beds. You also have a wardrobe, which is quite spacious. You also have, because you can fold your clothes and put it, and you have a shelf where you can put your shoes at the bottom here. And this is your bathroom. And at Unite, we share a flat with 10 people. The lights are automatic. I'm going to show you on the kitchen. Here's the kitchen. It's a kitchen and a living room, so you have your couches back there. We're not as fortunate as flat halls. You only get provided with a microwave. You have to buy your own kettle and toaster, which you can share the price among your other flatmates. And you get 2 cupboards as well, one that's labeled and one that's not labeled. So label one, you can put your food or your dishes. You also get 2 big fridges. We also do not get a cleaner, but your resident assistant at the beginning of the year will help you make a cleaning rota. So for people to see who's going to clean the kitchen and the corridor, when, who's going to take out the bin.
Okay, so it's worth noting at Middlesex, all of the halls have a resident advisor. So that's somebody that's allocated to your block at the start of the year, who you can go to with any questions about your accommodation. And they act as a kind of like an advisory between you and the accommodation staff. Obviously, you can talk to them directly as well, but they're just there to help you feel kind of safer in your accommodation, which is quite nice. So really, really exciting. If you're considering applying to Middlesex, there's an extra kind of monetary incentive to maybe come along to us. There's a couple of bursaries that we naturally have throughout the year, but there are some really kind of exciting bursaries that we've been awarded because we won a What Uni Student Choice Award in May of this year. So we've got some financial support bursaries available to you. So a bursary is another name for a financial grant that's used to help people study. The term scholarship, bursary, grant is kind of interchangeable, and sometimes they can be a reduction in fees. Sometimes it can be monetary or money that goes directly into your bank account, or sometimes it can be money that is put towards things. So we also have kind of a set of packs where money is put towards resources that will support people when they're at university. So do check out what other bursaries, scholarships, grants are available from the universities that you are applying to. But if you are deciding that you want to maybe come to Middlesex, then this is an opportunity for you to apply. So we have 5 bursaries available at £2,000 each. There are some things that you need to do in order to be eligible for them. So you need to write a supporting statement, and it's between 200 and 400 words, showing what your motivations are for studying at Middlesex, any barriers that you have that might limit you to join, and how you'd feel if you received the bursary. So if you think you're eligible, please do apply. There's nothing to stop you applying, and you may be the kind of recipient of a £2,000 bursary that can go towards your studies. The deadline to apply is the 2nd of September, and there's lots more information on our fees and fundings page as well.
So on the run up to clearing and results day, you can feel a range of emotions, and that's absolutely normal. And on results day, you'll also feel a range of emotions. But if things don't go quite to plan on results day, don't be too hard on yourself. You've done your very best, and that's absolutely fine. And you know, lots and lots of people find themselves in clearing, thousands and thousands. So don't be hard on yourself. There's lots of support available. So to help you through that clearing process, try and do a little bit of research beforehand at what the universities you're looking at, what kind of courses are available. And if there's other universities you may plan to look at, you can already go on UCAS and see what courses are available through clearing. So you can maybe do some preemptive research, have a look at courses, locations, and maybe do a little bit of live chat to see what those universities are like, what the vibe they are. Another great way is to get to find the vibe for a university is to look at their social media accounts. So have a look at their Instagram, their Twitter, their Facebook. And if you want, you can start following them to stay up to date when Freshers is going to be, when Welcome Week's going to be. You can also join virtual events. So you can take a virtual tour of the building and the facilities if you haven't had a chance to visit the university already. And just make sure that you are prepared and you are ready for when results day comes. So how can we support you at Middlesex? So you can sign up for our clearing support, and you can sign up right now, and that's you can get a personalized campus tour that way. Those start on the 16th of August, but if you want a clearing campus tour earlier, there's also campus tours going on from the 9th to the 13th of August. Once you've got a confirmed place, you can also join social media groups. So you can join like the Facebook group, for example, and become part of the community, ask questions to other first year students, and also students that are currently at the university as well. If you have any questions, you can talk to our admissions team. So they are on live chat from Monday to Friday between 9 a.m. to 5 p.m. And you can also give them a ring if you like as well. And we recommend following us on Instagram, because that's where we'll be posting loads of updates, loads of events about what is happening during your time at university.
So that's enough of us talking, I think, and it's now time to hear from our wonderful students, and we've got our graduate, Jess, who is a graduate of LLB Law with Human Rights, and one of our current students, Leonardo, who's currently studying business management, and they're here just to provide you with a bit of information about their clearing journey, their clearing experience. So I'll hand over to you, Jess, first, if that's all right, and then it's over to everybody to ask questions. So please get your questions ready, and we'd love to answer them. So yeah, I'll hand over to you, Jess.
Thanks, Sophie. So hi everyone, as you just heard, my name is Jess. I graduated last year with a first class honours in LLB Law with Human Rights. My clearing story is a little bit of a different one. I actually realised last minute through panic searching on UCAS, which I do not recommend doing because you'll just get yourself more stressed out, that there was a better course for me that was more suited to my interests at Middlesex. So I was really interested in human rights law, and I found that they did a law degree with human rights, which was over the course of 3 years rather than my firm choice university that I picked for one module in my third year. Again, this was more because I got my predicted grades. I got into both my firm and my insurance universities, but I just changed my mind and I went through clearing because I just found a course that was more suitable for my needs and interests. So I had to ring up both my insurance and my firm choice to put me into clearing. Even doing that, I still think the whole process was really easy, and I don't think it took me more than 20 minutes. I ran Middlesex with my UCAS number to hand. They asked for proof of my qualifications, which I was able to email over, and then I was offered a place. The operators made me feel really welcome, and no question could have not been answered. I had loads from, accommodation available if I wanted it, even though I chose in the end not to move out. Starting dates, welcome week, things like that. They had all of that on hand. And I still feel like that today. The process of chasing your student finance application over is really easy as well, as you've heard, so don't let that put you off either. I know lots of people are really stressed out about getting your maintenance loan, but because I was moving from a university that was outside of London to one that was in London, I managed to get more in the end, which is always helpful. I'm still really happy with going through clearing, even though now I've graduated. The university has been really great in helping me start my legal career. So I had a life coach in my first and second year through being a top performer in both of those years. They got me internships at places like the government legal department. I've worked on pro bono law cases, and I've just really had the best stepping stone to the start of my career. And the human rights modules that we covered were really heightened my interest in the subject, so much so that I'm now doing a postgrad in the subject. But yeah, I just wanted to let you know that I still really enjoyed my time at Middlesex. I didn't regret going through clearing, and I hope you can see that clearing is not necessarily just for those that don't get the grades. You can just change your mind like I did and still have a really positive experience and journey, and I hope you will have one too that you can embark on.
Thank you so much. Yeah, anyone's got any questions about Jess's clearing journey or any questions about clearing in general, please pop them in the Q&A. So I'll hand over to Leo, if that's all right.
Yes, hello everybody. As Sophie said, my name is Leo. I am a fourth year student of business management with Spanish, which is a bit of an interesting program, I think, and I'm going to get on that just in a minute. So I applied to Middlesex University through clearing around 3 years ago. The reason why it's different from just this reason. So basically, I had firstly applied to another university in East London. As an international student, I didn't have a British qualification. I had my Italian qualification, as I'm from Italy. And I was required to take a test of English language. And basically, I was not able to match the minimum requirements of that university by half a point, which is very little. So I was rejected and I had to look for somewhere else. It was, I think, August by then. So you can imagine I started panicking. I was thinking, oh my God, I'm not gonna make it on time. What can I do? What can I do? I started looking around. I started looking at other universities. I was actually interested in that university because it had this interesting program, which is, in my opinion, business management with Spanish. I was browsing through other universities and I saw that Middlesex had the exact same program available. So I started looking for information about Middlesex, location, about some reviews from previous students. It seemed really interesting, really cool. I went to campus. It looked really, really cool. Even compared, it actually looked better compared to the university of my first choice. So I saw that there were openings for through clearing, and there was a hotline number that I decided to call with my documents. So my Italian qualification, my UCAS details, my personal statement. I remember this lovely lady picked up the phone and she was really nice, really, I was really stressed and she managed to actually let me know, look, don't worry. Well, we are here to help you, because keep in mind that even though as a student, you might be really stressed, they're just there to help you and they just want to, the best for you and trying to give you a place in the university. So as Jess said, the experience on the phone was the same for me. I think it didn't take longer than maybe 15-20 minutes. I told them that I had taken the test of English language and the results that I had were fine with them. Does it mean that the other university was or is better than Middlesex? No, it doesn't mean that. It's just that for different reasons, they have different standards, I guess. But to be honest, I'm really, really happy with my choice. Again, campus looks better. I had a great experience. I've just been on a year abroad to Spain and now I'm back. I'm very happy with my modules. I find them really, really interesting. I had a lot of support throughout my program, my studies in general. Going back actually to student finance, I remember because obviously I applied through to student finance as well. And applying to student finance or changing details in August is, high season for student finance. So I remember that things were not as fast as a stressed student might hope for. But, and indeed, I was at first awarded a minimum amount of maintenance loan, but with a second payment, they paid me the difference that I hadn't received with the first payment, which is great. So I think sometimes, especially if something is new, you might be really stressed about it because you don't know how it's going to work, if it's going to work. But again, eventually everything turned out really, really well. I'm happy where I am now. And I did it 3 years ago, and now clearing has improved in a way, as in it's even, I think it's even easier for students to access it. You can access it even through WhatsApp, like via WhatsApp, which to me is just, I wish I had WhatsApp when I applied 3 years ago. But you know, it's really easy. There's Clearing Plus where you can you're just shown your best options, and it's basically everything is done for you. So I think if I managed 3 years ago with less options, I think anybody can manage now, to be honest. So any question you may have about this, please.
Brilliant, thank you. Yeah, I think that's hopefully going to put some people's mind at ease. Yes, I mean, you both kind of said that that you're both still really happy with your decision to study at Middlesex. Is there anything that kind of like is a standout for Middlesex that you'd like to kind of shout about?
I'm going to go first. I'm going to jump in. I'm going to jump in straight away. We had our own specialist chambers, which was amazing, and to be able to deliver all presentations, which you might have to do as a form of assessment, to be able to do them there was amazing, and not something that not every single university offers. We also had a law clinic, which was great in terms of getting experience, because I think for an industry like mine, experience and kind of being able to put yourself out there is really important. So I found that really helpful, and also like MDX works and being able to still use them now, even though I've graduated, with like help from CVs and stuff, and you know, cover letters I might write for jobs that I'm looking at. Being able to still have access to all of that stuff, I think definitely sets Middlesex apart from other universities.
Yeah, I agree. So for anyone that's listening, if you are a student at Middlesex, you get lifelong support from the employabilities team. So they're called MDX Work. So you're able to carry on any contracts that you have for up to 6 months. So both Jess and Leo have worked as like ambassadors and supported with various different things. So doing presentations like this, maybe supporting with videos, delivering presentations to schools, all of that sort of stuff. And there is payment for that work. But for anyone that graduates, they can still work with us for like 6 months after, whilst you're finding a role. And MDX Works, who are the people that kind of coordinate all of that, will offer lifelong support to people once they've graduated. So that's something that kind of does set us apart from other places. For some institutions, it will only be maybe a year, 18 months, 2 years. But for us, if you're 10 years out of university and you want to get that CV help, then you just let them know that you're a student. And you probably need to provide some details to verify that, but you can still get support, which is brilliant. So yeah, sorry, I jumped in front of you, Leo. So over to you if you've got anything.
Yes. So I'm just going to say these few things because I thought they were just normal until my sister started going to university as well. And she's at another university that I'm not going to mention. But these things that I'm going to mention are not available in her university. So I think that kind of something that makes Middlesex stand out. So first thing is that we get so many things included with, like, just by paying our tuition fee, such as free prints. We can get access to, I don't even know how many books, academics and non-academics. We get support. I know that every student has a personal tutor, which basically checks on the student about their progress, if they have any question, if they have any issue, if they have any suggestion, really anything related to studies, and not actually, because, for example, during the pandemic, I took my whole second year from home. The well-being team checked on me several times throughout the year, asking me how I was doing, if I needed anything, how I found, accessing resources from home, if I needed anything, if I needed a laptop. It was like really, really helpful. Like fortunately, I didn't need anything at the time, but I could have access to a lot of services. Another thing that I don't know if is available in other universities is what we call the SLA program, which is a student learning assistant. Yeah. So basically, I'm one of them actually. So basically, what an SLA does is helping other students with their studies. So if they have any questions, something that maybe they haven't understood, or if they have any issues accessing online resources, or it depends. There are a lot of different functions. It's just an extra support during classes that I don't think is offered at many other universities, because I know that the SLA program was created at Middlesex a few years ago. And that's something that I'm one of them, and I know for personal experience that I've helped a lot of students with their studies, which is very rewarding for me and very helpful for them. Yeah, I think this is it from me.
Brilliant, thank you. I think we'll do a couple more questions. So when you called up other universities, did you find that experience as like easy as it was at Middlesex, or what sort of things, I know you mentioned it when you were both speaking, but what sort of things should maybe people be preparing for when they ring up universities? Or there are options, aren't there, to fill in a form, WhatsApp, live chat, there's loads of ways to contact universities, but there's probably still the same sort of things that people will need. So when you were doing your kind of research and ringing up, what sort of things did they want from you? How was the experience? Yeah, don't know who wants to go first.
I'm happy to keep going first, it's easier.
Yeah.
I think from what I can remember, it was like being able to have your UCAS number at hand and proof of your qualification. So I remember having to take pictures of my grade certificates and being able to send them over to Middlesex so that they had proof basically that what I say I got was what I got. For me, it was a little bit scary being on the phones and stuff, especially on results day where it's going to be really busy. But obviously you don't know that when you're in that kind of moment. You kind of jump to like, oh my God, like they're never going to get round to my call and stuff. But I think genuinely just being patient is really important. I also had someone nominated on my UCAS application, so they could talk about my application on my behalf. So when I was trying to get through to Middlesex to basically say, can you take me on this course, my mum was able to also ring them at the same time. So it was just a game of who could get through quicker while we were both kind of waiting for someone to answer, which is helpful if you're ringing around more than one university. But like in general, like the process is not scary. It's just kind of, building on what you've already prepared for the day. So you've already written your personal statement, you've got your grades. It's just being able to supply universities with copies of them. But yeah, I think mine was a little bit more stressful because I was ringing up universities asking them to put me in clearing, which obviously now you don't have to do. There's a self-release button, but when I had to do it, it was more like, oh, I've got to ring the university and actually tell them that I don't want to go there anymore, which was a bit painstaking because they were like, we'll offer you a different course if you've changed your mind. And I'm just like, no, I'm just not interested. So actually being able to cut that conversation out as well is really helpful. But yeah, just being able to have like documents to hand and make, like, if you need to nominate someone on your UCAS form, I know you can go in and change it, because I changed it from my mum to my dad at one stage because she went to work. Like it's really easy to do. But actually knowing you can do these things is important as well.
Yeah, I think in my experience, I mean, it was pretty much the same thing, to be honest. So I just had to have my UCAS number. That's essential. I don't even think you can do anything if you don't have that number, to be honest. It's like your ID. And then I had my Italian certification, I think, and some previous conversation probably with UCAS or something, because again, coming from an international prospect, it was a bit more complicated for me in terms of, you know, converting my qualification into something that was similar to what is available in the UK. Although now things might be easier, probably. So I had a copy of that, and not much else really, just personal documents. You know, my suggestion is it's better to have more documents at hand rather than less. So even if you think that something may not be useful, just why not just have it with you, so that if they ask for it, you don't have to go around the house looking for it. So if you just have everything, that's just it really. I don't have much to say because I think it was fairly easy in a way. It can be stressful, but if you have everything you need, you don't have to worry about anything else really. They will help you through the whole process.
Brilliant, thank you. So anyone else got any more questions to ask, please do pop them in the Q&A. I'll just ask one more question, otherwise, yeah, we'll nearly be done. But whilst I'm asking this, please do pop any more questions in the Q&A. We've got 10 minutes before we're due to finish, but we can finish slightly earlier. So just thinking which one to ask you. So for you, Jess, your experience at university has been a good one, and now you're off to do, you loved studying so much that you're doing a master's course, and the same for you, Leo. If there are people here that haven't applied to university but maybe considering going, what would your, obviously this is quite a big question, but what would your kind of recommendation be? Would it be just go for it, try it, apply? There's still time to apply, there's lots of courses for them. Yeah, your experience at university, has it been a good one? Would you recommend it to other people?
I think for me, definitely. You don't realize how many courses there are out there until you start looking and you start actually trying to nail something down that you like. Like, I had never studied law before coming to do it at undergrad, and then loved it so much that I was like, I'm not finished learning yet, let me do another year. Like, I was kind of the person that was like, I'm going to jump right in with a subject that I think matches what I'm interested in and what my hobbies are, and I'm going to see how it goes. But then, like, there's so many choices of degree out there that you don't even know what you can find. And obviously I didn't know that was my whole reason for going through clearing, and I don't regret it at all. I managed to get another couple of years study of an area of law that I'm incredibly interested in, as opposed to one module in my third year that I would have to wait 2 years for, and then would only study even half a term, if not, you know, the full term. So I think actually making sure you do your research before you jump right in is a very important one, and one that I definitely regret when I didn't do my application the first time round. I should have looked more into detail at the courses that are out there, but there's so many of them that it's crazy. I don't regret my decision at all. I loved my 3 years at Middlesex. I would come back in a heartbeat. I was still working for you guys when I was somewhere else. Like, I'm like a leech, you can't get rid of me. I love it so much. The atmosphere, the lecturers, like, I got on so well with them. They still email me and check in and, you know, want to know what I'm up to, which is really nice. Like, it's not just kind of, we'll teach you and then when you go kind of thing. I genuinely feel like they're my friends, even though they're not my friends. They're so much older than me and wiser than me, but we still have conversations that, you know, you might not get anywhere else. And I really kind of liked that personal level of Middlesex and being taught that. And I loved it here, and my course, I loved everything that I studied, and it just ignited a bigger passion in me to keep studying. So yeah, I think that's kind of it in a nutshell.
Amazing. And you, Leo?
I think when it comes to choosing what to study, as Jess said, there are so many courses, it's probably overwhelming, because every time I tell friends or somebody that I study business management with Spanish, they're always very surprised, because I got to understand that it's a very unusual course, like program, because it combines business management and a foreign language. And usually people only focus maybe on business management, international business management, or language studies. But I thought, you know what, I'm very interested in, you know, studying about the management of business, which involves finance, marketing, human resource management, and so on. But I also really enjoy learning and speaking other languages. So I saw this one and I thought, why not? Let's give it a go. And it's very, very interesting. I really like it. And you know, I think a lot of degree courses, they can be quite generic in a way. Like for me, in particular, I have a lot of different modules going from Spanish to marketing, operations management, finance and accounting. And I find they're quite generic in a way, but I also know that obviously I can try and put those knowledge into practice through internships, placements, and whatnot. And then when I will eventually finish university, this is an undergraduate, and when I will finish that, I can look for a job. And if any day I will finally decide which field I want to specialize onto, whether it is accounting and finance or marketing or something else, I can just access a postgraduate degree. So, you know, it can be a lot, because I definitely agree when Jess said, you know, there is a lot of courses, and they can look quite similar. But also remember that, you know, you can always change course. You can, if you realize, I know a lot of people that change their course because they realized that they were interested into something rather than something else. And, you know, the fact that you choose a university and a degree doesn't mean that you will be stuck into that path for the rest of your life. It's just a start, and then if you change your mind, you can always do that either throughout the year or the next year, or you can go through clearing again. Like, you can do whatever you want, really. So
yeah, I think that's the right thing. Yeah. That is the main thing, isn't it? You're never stuck. There's always options for you, and the universities, whichever university you go to, will have people available for you to talk to, and there's lots of similarities in some subjects. So if you have a passion for one thing, but you know, you may be able to combine it with another area, so English and creative writing, for instance, sociology, psychology, you know, sometimes they run very similarly for the first year or so, and you can swap between them. And there's lots of courses where you don't need to have a specific degree, or lots of careers, where you don't need to have a specific degree to be able to go into those later on. So it's just about doing research, I guess, in the first instance, and using the tools that you have, such as UCAS, such as the admissions team, such as students as well. You know, lots of universities offer you the opportunity to speak to people before you make that decision. But yeah, university is definitely worthwhile. Both Anjali and I have also gone to university. Mine was a long time ago now, but I still really enjoyed my time, and I'm sure you did as well, Anjali, right? Yeah. Did you?
Oh, I was just going to say, yeah, it was
Yeah. Sorry,
it's just also
lagging.
when you're looking at courses, especially when you're looking at maybe clearing courses, and you might not do as in-depth research as you would have done previously for the universities you applied for. It's just making sure you look at the courses, look at the course content, what you'll be learning on the different modules, what are the core modules, what are the ones you can choose, are they actually something you want to study? Don't just apply for something for the sake of it. Make sure you still, you know, do your research. Leo got to go abroad on his course. I was able to go abroad on my course as well. If that's something you're interested in, you know, make sure you have a look at those opportunities, see if you are able to do you know, the equivalent of Erasmus, so the Turing scheme or anything like that. That is.
Oh no, we lost Angela. I think what she was going to say was, yeah, just look out there and see all of the things that you're looking to hope to get from university, whether or not the particular university that you want to study at and the course will offer you that as well. And I suppose it's really also important to remember and to try and get people to go and see the universities as well. So if you can please do go and visit the universities. Obviously, it can be quite difficult sometimes, but lots of universities throughout next week will be running open events like campus tours and things like that for you to be able to go and see. And also, if you do go through clearing, there is a stigma sometimes around people going through clearing, but it does not take away from your university experience at all. People go through clearing for a number of different reasons, and you know, your academic standing, your experience at university, all of that sort of stuff. University is really what you make it, and going through clearing does not mean anything different to anyone else that has gone through in the kind of main cycle application process. So yeah, I don't know if you two have got anything to kind of add to that.
Yeah, I just want to kind of reiterate that even though I went through clearing, I still managed to get the highest grade that I could in my degree, and my quality of education had absolutely no effect on me going through clearing and getting a place through it at all. So actually, you know, using the experiences, just wanting to change your mind and being open to different things is a really good way of looking at it. And I always say everything happens for a reason. So I think living by that, and you know, if you end up somewhere else rather than where you thought you were going to end up, there's always a reason why you were there. So going into it with an open mind, I think is a good way to tackle it.
And you, Leo, do you have anything to add?
Yeah, I don't have anything else to say that hasn't been said yet. I mean, yeah, you're right about the stigma. You know, sometimes you feel, you know, kind of a second class student maybe if you apply through that. But again, it doesn't mean anything. It's just an extra opportunity for people to get into university. I'm a first class student as well, so you know, it just took me a little bit longer to understand the process and to figure out exactly where I was going to, but here I am, and I'm very satisfied with what I've done so far.
Brilliant. So I think that's a really nice note to end on. So thank you to everybody that's joined us today. Really appreciate you sticking with us for the duration of this presentation. You will get the recording sent over to you probably tomorrow or Friday, but wishing everybody the best of luck with their results. If you are going through clearing, good luck. If you're applying to study at Middlesex, or you've already applied to study at Middlesex, good luck. You may be speaking to some of our colleagues on results day if you need to call us, but there are loads of ways that universities can support you, and there will be a university and course match for you. So thank you again, and yeah, wishing you all the best of luck and have a wonderful evening. Bye, everyone.